Do you remember sweet stepmom Carol and the goofy Cody? Now, 34 years later, everything has changed. Suzanne Summers has passed away, the cast has gone their separate ways, and some of their post-step-by-step successes might just surprise you. You won't believe who's had the biggest transformation. Suzanne Summers as Carol Foster Lambert. Suzanne Summers was born on October 16, 1946, in San Bruno, California. When she was 45 years old, she stepped into the role of Carol Foster Lambert, a warm-hearted mother and hairstylist with a radiant smile, always patient as she tried to unite two chaotic families with humor and an open heart. Her character captured the audience's affection, not only for the role itself, but for the optimistic spirit Suzanne brought to it. Behind the shine of Carol, though, Suzanne's real life was marked by ups and downs. She married Alan Hamill in 1977, building a lasting love that spanned over 4 decades, while a previous marriage to Bruce Summers resulted in 1 son.
Give us all a chance to be together as a family and talk.
After being diagnosed with breast cancer in 2000, she turned to alternative treatments. Controversial but reflective of her resilient nature, which earned both admiration and criticism.
Dinner! Turkey and stuffing.
She passed away on October 15, 2023, in Palm Springs, California, at the age of 76, leaving behind a legacy both vibrant and deeply moving. Patrick Duffy as Frank Lambert. Patrick Duffy was born on March 17, 1949, in Townsend, Montana. When he was 42 years old, he brought to life Frank Lambert, a dependable construction worker dad with a clumsy laugh and a fierce love for his family, charming audiences with his blend of sincerity and humor, a quality not far from Patrick's real-life persona. Yet behind that lovable smile were profound tragedies. He married Carlin Rosser in 1974, and together they had 2 sons, seemingly enjoying a fulfilling family life. But in 1986, his parents were murdered during a robbery in Montana, a loss that left an indelible scar. Then in 2017, Carlin passed away from cancer, plunging Patrick into deep solitude.
Should I close my eyes for this?
Yes.
He found solace in Buddhism and quiet painting sessions at his Oregon ranch, gradually healing in a journey much like Frank's efforts to hold his family together.
I saved the hair in case you want to glue it back on.
Why don't I just staple it?
At age 76 in 2025, Patrick continues to act in Los Angeles, carrying with him the steady strength of both his character and his own life.
Wow. Because Larry and Linda and I were closest and dearest friends.
Brandon Call as John Thomas J.T. Lambert. Brandon Call was born on November 17, 1976, in Torrance, California. When he was 15 years old, he portrayed J.T., a mischievous teenager who often stirred up trouble but had a heart of gold, bringing laughter and moments of growth that endeared him to viewers, mirroring some of the complexities in Brandon's real life. As the spotlight faded, his path turned into a series of tough challenges. A short-lived marriage ended in divorce, leaving him with 2 children and financial pressures. A serious car accident in the 1990s left not only physical scars, but deepened his struggles with depression, much like the troubles J.T. faced on screen.
Cody! J.T. My man,
In search of peace, Brandon turned to surfing and long days by the beach, choosing a private life far from public view, a stark contrast to J.T.'s lively persona. At age 49 in 2025, Brandon lives quietly in California, occasionally accepting acting roles. Stacy Keenan as Dana Foster. Stacy Keenan was born on June 6, 1975, in Devon, Pennsylvania. When she was 16 years old, she took on the role of Dana, the intelligent, sharp-tongued oldest sister who often played the voice of reason in the family. Her witty comebacks and confident charm won over audiences, reflecting the decisiveness Stacy carried in real life. Behind those sparkling eyes, though, was a story of unfulfilled dreams. After dating for many years, She married Guy Birtwistle in 2017, finding stability, but a broken relationship before that had once made her question happiness, a journey not unlike the emotional trials Dana faced. A passion for stage acting and teaching, along with long runs, helped her find joy, but it was her decision to pursue a legal career that marked a turning point, showing the same strength as her character. At age 50 in 2025, Stacy lives peacefully in Los Angeles and occasionally returns to the screen. David Graff as Dave Roberts. David Graff was born on April 16, 1950, in Lancaster, Ohio. When he was 43 years old, he brought the role of Dave to life. A funny guy who lightened the mood with goofy jokes, winning the audience over with his easygoing, sincere nature, which seemed to echo David's own personality. But off-camera, his life was clouded by quiet sorrows. After a painful divorce, he found comfort in his 1983 marriage to Kathy Graff, yet battles with depression and a reliance on alcohol to ease emotional pain revealed a very different side from the humorous Dave on screen. Though he found joy in acting and charity work, his career never quite reached the peak he had hoped for, a silent regret he carried. Struggling with heart problems, David's health declined quickly, and he died of heart failure on April 7, 2001, in Phoenix, Arizona, at the age of 50. Angela Watson as Karen Foster. Angela Watson was born on November 12, 1975, in Danville, Illinois. When she was 16 years old, she played Karen, the fashion-loving girl with dreams of becoming a singer, part diva, part sweetheart, delivering both laughs and moments of sincerity that captivated viewers. Her role reflected Angela's own early career ambitions. But as the spotlight dimmed, her life unfolded into a series of tearful trials. A youthful marriage ended in irreconcilable differences, leaving Angela a single mother of two, bearing the weight of responsibility much like Karen did within a big family.
Duffy, the mean teacher slayer.
Depression and financial hardship clouded her once bright acting future, and efforts to break into fashion business fell short, forcing her to adapt.
One of my favorite things. It's called revenge.
At age 50 in 2025, Angela lives in California, quietly raising her children and occasionally appearing at small events.
I just made that up.
Christine Leaken as Alicia Al Lambert. Christine Leaken was born on January 25, 1979, in Dallas, Texas. When she was 12 years old, she brought to life Al, the spunky tomboy with a rebellious streak and a tender heart, capturing audiences with her blend of humor and depth, a character that felt like a miniature reflection of Christine's own inner strength. But when the spotlight dimmed, her life turned into a journey filled with unexpected turns. She married Brandon Breault in 2014 and had 2 children, finding joy in family life. Still, a previous broken relationship and the pain of losing loved ones left her confronting deep loneliness, much like the moments when Al had to learn to open up on screen.
They became like a family, you know? And when someone...
The transition from child actor to adulthood wasn't easy, but her passion for directing, voice work, and long runs helped her regain balance. At 46 in 2025, Christine lives in Los Angeles and remains active in the entertainment industry. Josh Byrne as Brendan Lambert. Josh Byrne was born on February 15, 1984, in Los Angeles, California. When he was 7 years old, he played Brendan, the sweet and innocent youngest of the Lambert family, delivering heartwarming moments that melted viewers with his sincerity, a portrayal that echoed Josh's own early career purity. But once the stage lights faded, his life became a story of harsh trials. A short-lived marriage left Josh a single father, carrying the heavy weight of responsibility, not unlike the chaotic challenges the Lamberts faced. A battle with alcoholism during his career slump further dimmed his former glow, though his love for music and songwriting offered rare moments of light. At 41 in 2025, Josh lives quietly in California, steadily rebuilding his life. Christopher Castile as Mark Foster. Christopher Castile was born on June 15, 1980, in Orange County, California. When he was 11 years old, he portrayed Mark, the bright yet socially awkward boy whose innocent charm won over audiences, a role that seemed to mirror Christopher's reflective personality in real life. But as fame faded, his life unfolded into a quiet journey marked by long periods of challenge. His marriage to his college sweetheart ended in heartbreak, leaving him with a lingering loneliness, much like the times Mark struggled to fit in on screen.
Hola, me llamo Lowell. Tú debes ser Jack.
Depression and the pressure to redefine himself post-child stardom led him toward a new path, and a passion for teaching and history research guided him into education.
Me da la sensación que estás adivinando.
At 45 in 2025, Christopher lives in California, working as a teacher. Sasha Mitchell as Cody Lambert. Sasha Mitchell was born on July 27, 1967, in Los Angeles, California. When he was 24 years old, he stepped into the role of Cody, the goofy but kind-hearted surfer whose carefree humor and silly one-liners brought laughter and warmth, a character that stood in stark contrast to the turmoil in Sasha's real life. Off-screen, his life turned into a darker narrative. His marriage to Jeanette Robbins, which began in 1990, ended in 1997 amid domestic violence allegations, leaving him with 4 children and a stain hard to erase, a tragedy that clashed with Cody's cheerful optimism.
Fruit, blows me away.
Struggles with mental health and repeated arrests for violent behavior further blurred his public image, though his love for martial arts and background as a kickboxing athlete once stood as points of pride.
Hey, you're a model.
At 58 in 2025, Sasha lives quietly in California, keeping to himself and striving for a fresh start. Peggy Reya as Ivy Baker. Peggy Reya was born on March 31, 1921, in Los Angeles, California. When she was 70 years old, she played Grandma Ivy, the sweet, wise elder with a warm smile and heartfelt advice, offering comfort in family moments, a role that embodied the gentle spirit Peggy carried in life. But as the spotlight faded, her life became a quiet tale of sorrow. Her marriage to Clovis Reya ended, leaving Peggy to face solitude, a sense of emptiness not unlike the times Ivy tried to mend family rifts on screen.
Are there any more nominations?
She had no children, and heart disease gradually weakened her health. Still, she found joy in gardening and caring for her pets, rare moments of peace. Peggy passed away on February 5, 2011, in Toluca Lake, California, at the age of 89. June Lockheart as Helen Lambert. June Lockheart was born on June 25, 1925, in New York City, New York. When she was 71 years old, she portrayed Grandma Helen, the wise matriarch with a generous heart, offering moments of humor and insight through her life experience, a role that reflected June's real-life resilience and intellect. But when the lights dimmed, her life was marked by quiet loss. Her marriages to John Maloney and John Lindsay both ended, leaving her with 2 daughters and an emotional void, not unlike the moments Helen had to use wisdom to hold her family together on screen. Her love for astronomy and stargazing brought serenity, a comfort amid life's storms. At 100 in 2025, June lives with her family in Los Angeles, still embodying grace and wisdom. Nedra Voles as Mrs. Slake. Nedra Voles was born on June 18, 1908, in Montrose, Iowa. When she was 85 years old, she brought to life Mrs. Slake, the gentle neighbor with a kind heart who always arrived just in time with her quirky charm to lift spirits, a role that captured the tenderness Nedra radiated in real life. But beyond the laughter, Her life held quiet sorrow. Her husband, Lester Voles, passed away early, and the greatest heartbreak came with the loss of their only child, a blow from which she never recovered, echoing the silent support Mrs. Slake offered the Lambert family.
Oh, why, of course. Of course.
Her love for music and memories of performing on radio in her youth remained bright spots, though they couldn't erase the loneliness of her final years.
Oh, well, dear, I'm glad to see you, too. Yes.
Nedra passed away on January 20th, 2003 in Mesa, Arizona at the age of 94, leaving behind a modest yet meaningful legacy of sincerity. Patrika Darbo as Penny Baker. Patrika Darbo was born on April 6, 1948, in Jacksonville, Florida. When she was 43 years old, she played Penny, Carol's cheerful sister who always brought positive energy and witty one-liners. Audiences loved her optimism, a trait that seemed to mirror Patrika's real-life perseverance. But when the spotlight faded, her life became a journey filled with trials. Married to Rolf Darbo since 1973, the couple faced tough times together, including supporting a family member through addiction, a weight not unlike Penny's efforts to bring laughter to the family on screen.
I'm Darbo Patrika on Twitter, and on Instagram, I'm Patrika Darbo.
Financial struggles and a career that didn't unfold as expected often left her battling to stay afloat, but her love of baking and charity work brought her joy and meaning. At 77 in 2025, Patrika lives in Los Angeles and continues to take on small roles. Tony Longo as Soupy. Tony Longo was born on August 19, 1961 in Brooklyn, New York. When he was 34 years old, he brought Soupy to life, a big guy with a big heart full of energy and laughs. It was a role that felt like an exaggerated version of Tony's own lively spirit. But as the limelight dimmed, his life became a string of difficult chapters. A failed marriage, strained by financial pressure and disagreements, left Tony with 2 children and a fractured home, an emotional contrast to Soupy's upbeat charm. Obesity and depression gradually pushed him out of Hollywood, though football and watching games remained one of his few escapes. Tony passed away on June 21, 2015, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 53, due to health complications, leaving behind a legacy of laughter tinged with sadness. Jason Marsden as Rich Hawk. Jason Marsden was born on January 3, 1975 in Providence, Rhode Island. When he was 18 years old, he took on the role of Rich, JT's easygoing best friend with goofy pranks and laid-back charm, bringing youthful humor to every episode he appeared in. It was a part that captured Jason's own carefree spirit during his early career, but as the lights faded, his path took a few sharp turns. Married to Christy Hicks since 2004 and a father to 1 son, Jason faced tension as his career slowed down, a pressure not unlike the moments when Rich struggled to fit into the Lambert family.
Of all the people, Bill Farmer's the goofiest. Gorge.
The transition from child actor to adult roles and financial challenges were difficult to navigate, but his passion for voice acting and playing guitar offered comfort.
Everyone's crying, just so you know. Everyone around is crying.
At 50 in 2025, Jason lives in Nashville and remains active in the entertainment industry.
And I can see why Goofy would want to take Max on this.
Mickey Jones as Virgil. Mickey Jones was born on June 10, 1941 in Houston, Texas. When he was 52 years old, he portrayed Virgil, a quirky but kind-hearted plumber whose simple humor and genuine nature endeared him to viewers. It was a role that reflected Mickey's own grounded personality. But as the fame faded, his life unfolded into a story of quiet struggles. His marriage to Phyllis Jean Starr ended in divorce, leaving Mickey with 2 children and a sense of distance, a quiet sorrow reminiscent of Virgil's silent support for the Lambert family.
Well, Tim, nowadays, when a hot rivet drops down in my shirt...
Diabetes took a toll on his health, but playing drums for famous bands remained a bright spot, offering moments of joy in his lonelier days.
And no one knows more about tools than Les.
Mickey passed away on February 7, 2018 in Simi Valley, California, at the age of 76 due to health complications, leaving behind a small but heartfelt legacy. Bronson Pancho as Jean-Luc Rio-Peru. Bronson Pancho was born on May 20, 1959, in New York City, New York. When he was 38 years old, he stepped into the role of Jean-Luc, a flamboyant hairstylist with a quirky flair, bringing laughter through his eccentricity and warm heart. It was a role that became a stage for Bronson's real-life creativity. But when the stage lights dimmed, his life revealed its own mix of contrasts. Never married, Bronson went through 2 serious relationships that ended in heartbreak, leading him to embrace a single life focused on his career. A solitary path not unlike Jean-Luc's efforts to fit into the Lambert household. His battle with alcoholism in the 1990s nearly derailed him, but he overcame it to find stability again. A love of home renovation and real estate brought him happiness, even when it came with financial stress.
Of course I have. Don't be ridiculous.
At 66 in 2025, Bronson lives peacefully in Los Angeles, still acting and writing, carrying the uniqueness of both Jean-Luc and himself. So much has changed in 34 years, but the memories from Step by Step still feel like yesterday. Whether it's surprise career turns or heartfelt goodbyes, this cast will always hold a place in TV history. Which character's transformation surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more classic TV throwbacks. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye.